My name is Min Jae, and I own a small cafe nestled in one of Seoul's quieter neighborhoods. It wasn't always this way. When I first opened the cafe, it was just a simple dream, a place for people to gather and enjoy good coffee. But life, as it often does, had something unexpected waiting for me. Every morning, as I unlocked the door and flipped the sign to open, I noticed a dog waiting outside the shop. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence. Maybe the dog belonged to a neighbor or someone nearby. But day after day, the same scruffy, medium-sized dog with soft brown fur and deep, curious eyes appeared, sitting patiently by the entrance. I didn't know his name. No collar, no tags, just a stray who seemed to have chosen this spot as his own. He wasn't aggressive or scared. He was calm, almost dignified in his wait. Sometimes he would tilt his head or wag his tail just a little when I came out, but mostly, he just sat quietly. He never begged or barked, just waited. I tried to ignore him at first. Running a cafe was exhausting, and I had enough on my plate. But his quiet presence began to grow on me. Customers noticed him too. Some would bring scraps or treats, others took pictures. He became a little local curiosity. I started calling him Hoda, which means walnut in Korean, because of his round, fluffy shape. One chilly morning in late autumn, I found Hoda shivering outside the cafe, his fur damp from the rain the night before. I couldn't leave him there any longer. I brought him inside, wrapped him in a warm towel, and gave him some leftover chicken. He ate gratefully, his eyes locking onto mine with a look that seemed to say, "Thank you." That day was a turning point. I realized that Hoda wasn't just a stray, he was someone who had found his way into my life. I began leaving a little food out for him every morning, and over time, he became a fixture in the cafe. Customers loved him. They came not just for coffee but to see Hoda, to pet him, to share a moment with this gentle soul. But it wasn't easy. Hoda had lived on the streets for too long. He was wary of sudden movements, afraid of loud noises, and sometimes he'd flinch when someone reached for him too quickly. I had to be patient, learning how to earn his trust little by little. Then one day, a regular customer asked, "Why don't you make this a dog-friendly cafe? Let people bring their pets here to meet Hoda." The idea took root in my mind. What if this place could be more than just a coffee shop? What if it could be a sanctuary, a community for dog lovers and their furry friends? It was a big step. I had to get permits, make changes to the space, and learn about running a business with animals involved. There were challenges, allergies, cleaning, the occasional barking, but Hoda's steady presence reminded me why it was worth it. Word spread quickly. People came from all over Seoul to meet Hoda and enjoy the cozy, welcoming atmosphere of the cafe. He became our mascot, the face of something new, something real and warm in a busy city. The cafe became a place where strangers met over shared love for dogs, where stories were exchanged, and where Hoda was always there, quietly welcoming everyone. But that was just the beginning. Hoda's story was still unfolding, and so was mine. After deciding to turn my little cafe into a dog-friendly space, everything changed, but in the best way possible. The adjustments weren't easy. I had to learn about hygiene standards, design dog-safe areas, and manage the needs of all kinds of visitors, both human and canine. But with Hoda leading the way, it felt like we were building something meaningful together. Hoda was more than a mascot, he became a symbol of kindness and resilience. He showed up every morning, tail wagging softly, greeting every new visitor like an old friend. People from all walks of life came to the cafe, young couples, lonely office workers, elderly neighbors, families with kids, all drawn by the warm atmosphere and, of course, by Hoda. Over time, Hoda's story spread beyond our neighborhood. Local news outlets came to film him, and social media helped our cafe gain popularity. But the most important moments weren't the headlines, they were the small, everyday connections that Hoda helped foster. One woman, Mrs. Lee, told me she started coming to the cafe because she'd recently lost her dog and felt lonely. Sitting with Hoda and chatting with others helped her heal in ways she hadn't expected. Another visitor, a shy university student, found courage to talk to others for the first time, bonding over their shared love of dogs. Hoda taught me something invaluable: kindness breeds connection. His gentle, patient nature invited everyone to slow down, to share a smile or a story, to be present. Of course, taking care of a former stray wasn't without challenges. Early on, Hoda had some health problems, skin infections from parasites, a malnourished body that needed time and care to recover. I worked with local vets and animal shelters, sometimes staying late to nurse him back to health. Watching him transform from a cautious stray into a healthy, happy companion was one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. One memorable winter day, a stray dog wandered near the cafe again. This time, it was a small black puppy, trembling and hungry. Hoda approached gently, sniffed her, and seemed to welcome her quietly into our little family. That moment made me realize how much we had become a safe haven, not just for people, but for animals who had nowhere else to go. Eventually, I partnered with animal rescue groups to organize adoption events right at the cafe. The space we created became a bridge between strays and new homes. I still remember the first dog who found a forever family through one of these events, a joyful moment that made all the hard work worthwhile. Now, years later, our cafe is known not just for great coffee but as a place where community and compassion thrive. Hoda, the dog who waited patiently outside every day, taught me the true meaning of friendship and purpose. Sometimes I think back to that first morning, when he was shivering in the cold rain, and I wonder if he knew then that he was about to change my life, and the lives of so many others, just by waiting for a chance. Hoda isn't just a dog. He's a reminder that sometimes the smallest acts of kindness, a shared meal, a warm towel, a gentle hand, can grow into something powerful enough to change a whole neighborhood. And this story, our story, continues. Every day, when the cafe doors open, Hoda is there, waiting, welcoming, and reminding us all what it means to belong.